Hello guys, and welcome back. This is OBZ1. We're talking about philosophy, we're talking about truth, we're asking some big questions. We just talked about free will in the last video. We laid down some concrete in the beginning videos, and from here we're going to take off and really start asking questions. So if you looked in the title, we're talking about does right and wrong exist? So let's unpack this a little bit. We're talking about right and wrong. These are moral claims, not true and false. And we're talking about existence, like is it a real thing? And to do this, we first have to look at what people are claiming to be right and wrong. Some Christians will say in the Bible that, the Bible tells us this is right, this is wrong. God tells us, I'm not trying to be whatever. So God tells us this is right and wrong. You get the idea. Different religions will say different things. Different people will have different experiences, and they're all saying these different things. But what it comes down to at the end of the day is everything they're saying, and this is what I've understood. This is the consistency, because when we're looking in existence, we're looking for what is the truth. And if we're looking for the truth of this thing, we have to look at where the similarities is. And in everybody's claim, right, for something that is right or wrong, what they appear to be talking about is what is true. They're talking about what you truly desire, and for wrong, something that you truly don't desire. Okay, so everything that I've seen here, right? Every time I've seen people make moral claims, they're talking about you truly not desire this or you truly desire this. And now let me explain to you before we get any further the difference between true desire and what you truly don't desire. And the easiest way I can do this is tell you a little story about a young child who saw 100 cookies on top of the fridge. And the child wants the cookies on the fridge. And the cookies on the fridge are 100 cookies. The child wants to scuff the cookies down and eat them all. But the parent comes over and says, no, you're not going to do that because you're going to get sick, buddy. You're going to get sick. So now the kid desires to eat the cookies. But he doesn't know that if he eats them, he's going to get sick. That's not a thing that's going through his head. So if he did know that, his true desire would be to not eat the cookies. And this argument goes for everything, meaning people who do bad things, and yes, they may logically know that that is bad and wrong, but they still do it. They don't truly understand how bad it is. They may have part of the argument of why it's bad, but if they truly understood how bad it is, they wouldn't do that because they know it is a truly undesirable thing. They would feel the undesirable because they would have had all the experiences, knowledge, and truth about it. Just like the parent knew that they truly didn't want to eat all those cookies because they'd probably eaten a ton of candy before and felt that thing. So knowledge isn't only logical thinking, but it's also experiential, right? And people can even argue that and say that, well, alcoholics, they experience their life go to hell, right? And they still continue to do it. Well, the truth is, they really don't have the full knowledge of what they're doing. They haven't seen how their alcoholism is affecting people around them and how they have now imprinted that onto their children. They have now done it. They really haven't experienced in the full capacity what they're doing is affecting other people around them. And if they had the full thing, they wouldn't do that, because their true desire is when you have the knowledge of everything around you and that's what you desire. Now, so does right and wrong exist, right? Does right and wrong exist? Every claim to right and wrong claims that this is what you will truly desire. Because even if you're Christian and you say, I truly desire to do what God said I should, and he said these 10 commands and blah, 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 right? You believe that because you believe that you will truly get you what you want. That's your true desire. And if you follow the other path, you will truly not get what you want. So all humans do what they want, but not all humans do what they truly want. Okay, so do right and wrong exist? Well, it depends on how you define it, as everything. And I think we actually are all on the same definitions here. If you look at anybody's definition of right and wrong, you're going to see at the end of the day that they're saying this is what is truly desirable or truly undesirable. And if you ask the question, right, if you ask the question, instead of asking do right and wrong exist, if you ask the questions, do true desires exist? Of course they exist, right? It's an indisputable fact that, well, it's disputable, but it is very well proven that humans have things that motivated them, right? And if that thing that motivates them is, if you're asking if that thing that motivates them is real, well, we've consistently seen that it is real, right? Does it exist? Do things motivate humans? Yes, we've consistently seen it's real. So therefore, if true desires, if there are desires, and there can be all-knowing true desires, right? Then right and wrong do exist. A universal right and wrong for each in particular person. And if you wanted to draw a picture saying that, well, everybody must abide by the same right and wrong, that's only true if they're in the exact situation as the person, because sometimes we'll say, well, in different situations, different things can be right and wrong, because, if there's a murderer, he should be killed. This is just an example. If a murderer, he should be killed, but if he's just a thief, maybe he shouldn't be killed. So you see how the situation will dictate a different outcome. So as you are born, everybody's born into a different situation. What is right and wrong for that person to do will be different. But what we can do is draw some universal right and wrongs, right? We could say, well, this applies to everybody because there are consistencies between all of us. And within those consistencies, we see that we are all humans. We all, make actions based on our experiences. We all need food to live. We all can't have the ability to procreate. We all bear children. And with all these consistencies that we have, right, we now can start saying, well, if you bear children, it's right that you raise them, right? So we're drawing a moral claim that it's truly desirable to raise your kids and not leave them abandoned, right? Because we have a picture of the full information for whatever reason, right? We were saying it's truly desirable to do that because there are consistencies among the entire human race as that. But when you start getting into the nitty-gritty details of like, oh, well, you should raise your kids like this, or you should raise your kids like that, it's going to be different for each person, because if you grow up in a rich family versus a poor family, your situation is going to be different, and hence, just like the thief and the murderer, you have to treat it differently. So the right and wrong there are going to be different, but they're still going to follow the fundamental principle that it is after what we truly desire. And what I think is these laws in our country should basically dictate, should lay down the moral laws for those things that are consistent within all of us, but then they should take their hands away when it comes to the specifics of your own situation, your own genetics, and your own specific information, because that's going to be different for everyone. The government doesn't have time to get into all that nitty-gritty. So I hope you guys understood what I'm trying to propose here and what I see as right and wrong, and that right is something that is consistently truly desirable, and wrong is something that's consistently undesirable. And within our world, right, there's always going to be things that are different for each person, as we are different people, but there's also going to be things that are universal for all people because we are people, and in that we share consistencies in humanity, right? So there's always going to be right and wrong things. I'm not saying everybody will do the right thing. I'm saying there is a right thing to do. And I'm not even saying you have the ability to choose the right thing. All I'm saying is that there is a truly desirable outcome that will sometimes be fulfilled and sometimes not be fulfilled. If you guys have questions, this one is shaky for me, so I'm really gonna appreciate some input to help fill in the holes here, or even some input to help, attack this and like really break it down, and maybe there's a better way to see this that I'm not seeing. And let's talk about this, because for the longest time I believed right and wrong didn't exist, because I looked at it as this moral, this godlike, this thing that had no explanation. This kind of like how I thought of free will. It just appeared to be something that is, and don't question, this is right, this is wrong because God said so to speak, right? Or this is right and this is wrong because it hurts people, right? And it's like, okay, but why is hurting people wrong, right? And then it just goes on and on. But when you put an explanation like this to it, and it gets down to, well, you will truly not desire to hurt people, because if you knew the full scope of things, right? If you knew the full scope of things, you know that would actually hurt you more, and that harm that it would cause you is truly not a desirable thing. And so it gets really complicated. Anyway, but when you put a definition like this, which I think is the consistency among what everybody's kind of looking for here, and a lot of people call it cheesy to say, I want happiness in my life. Like, my true goal is happiness, right? A lot of people say that's cheesy, but the truth is, even if you think you're some devout person, right, and what you're doing is, the holy man's work, and this is right, if you think you're that person, you're still doing it because you believe that you truly desire to do it. And in another way, to truly desire something, the something that you desire most, is what will make you happy. So when someone says, well, I do this because it makes me happy, and someone says, well, I do this because it's the right thing, they're really saying the same thing. It's just the person who's saying the right thing may have a bunch of extra steps, but at the end of the day it comes down to the same thing. So don't judge others so much. And please ask me some questions. This is OBZ1 signing off. I really want to talk about this one, so guys, comment, please, do whatever, and I'll try and get some more videos out to respond to some of those questions. So let's have a good day.